Paris witnessed the rebirth of Jannik Sinner. A few weeks ago, few believed the Italian could climb back to the summit of men's tennis. Physically drained, forced to retire in Shanghai, and visibly fatigued from a relentless season, he looked closer to collapse than to dominance. But in the City of Light, everything changed. On a cold Sunday night inside La Défense Arena, Sinner defeated Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-4, 7-6, 4, to win the Rolex Paris Masters 2025, his fifth Masters 1000 title and perhaps the most meaningful of his career. The victory restored him to world number 1, overtaking Carlos Alcaraz, who had fallen early in the same tournament. "It's not only about numbers," Sinner said afterward, his voice calm but firm. "It's about finishing the season strong, showing that hard work always pays off." The achievement felt improbable only a month earlier. After pulling out of Shanghai, doctors advised rest. Many wondered whether he would even play again before Turin. But instead of stopping, Sinner regrouped, trained smarter, and launched an astonishing late-season surge. Titles in Vienna and Paris in back-to-back weeks, 26 consecutive indoor wins, and a level of consistency unmatched on the ATP Tour. The Paris final showcased the essence of Sinner's evolution. Against a rejuvenated Auger-Aliassime, hungry for his first Masters 1000 crown, the Italian imposed order from the very first game. He broke serve immediately, served flawlessly, and dictated every rally with depth and precision. The Canadian fought hard, especially in the second set, but Sinner's composure under pressure was unshakable. With one last forehand winner, he sealed the match and dropped his racket, smiling rather than roaring. The crowd rose in applause. They knew they had witnessed more than a victory. They had seen a player mature into a champion who controls every emotion. "Of course, I'm happy," he told reporters later. "But I know this ranking doesn't depend only on me. I'll focus on my side of the court, play my best tennis, and accept whatever happens." That humility has become Sinner's trademark. Even at the top, he refuses arrogance. He recognizes that Alcaraz remains dangerously close, and that the ATP Finals in Turin will decide the ultimate crown. For now, though, Paris belongs to him. The numbers behind the triumph are staggering. Sinner has now collected 5 titles in 2025, including Vienna, Paris, and Wimbledon, bringing his career total to 23. His 26-match indoor winning streak equals a record held only by Novak Djokovic. In Paris, he didn't drop a single set, the first Masters 1000 clean sweep since Alcaraz achieved it at Indian Wells 2023. What makes this rise even more remarkable is the context. At the start of the year, Sinner endured a brief suspension linked to a doping procedural issue that kept him off court for weeks. Many doubted he could recover psychologically. Instead, he returned stronger, fitter, sharper, and mentally unbreakable. The months that followed have rewritten his reputation from promising star to relentless champion. Now, after his Paris conquest, Sinner joins an elite list of active players with 5 or more Masters 1000 titles. Djokovic, 40, Alcaraz, 8, Zverev, 7, Medvedev, 6, and now Sinner, 5. At 24 years old, he's already part of the conversation shaping the post-Big Three era. Yet even in glory, he stays measured. "I'll take a few days to rest," he said. "Turin will be special. Home crowd, big goals, but I'll approach it the same way, one match at a time." That philosophy, simple but profound, defines his season. While others chase headlines, Sinner focuses on process. Each point, each match, one step at a time, until the sum of those steps leads him back to the top. As the lights dimmed in Paris and the trophy glistened in his hands, the Italian's face showed quiet satisfaction. Not euphoria, not surprise, just peace. Because for Jannik Sinner, being number 1 again isn't a destination. It's confirmation that staying true to himself was enough to get there. Subscribe to WorldNews Tennis for exclusive coverage of Sinner's return to number 1, Alcaraz's reaction, and what awaits both champions in the ATP Finals. When the final point was over and the applause filled La Défense Arena, Jannik Sinner didn't celebrate wildly. No chest thumps, no tears, no theatrical gestures. Just a smile, the kind of quiet, grounded joy that comes from achieving something monumental without losing yourself in the noise. Minutes later, in the press room, he delivered a message that perfectly captured who he's become. "It's not only about being number one," he said. "It's about how you get there, how you manage yourself every day. I'm happy, yes. But this sport changes fast. I know it doesn't depend only on me." That phrase, "it doesn't depend only on me," resonated deeply. Because in truth, even after reclaiming the top spot, Sinner knows the race isn't over. The ATP Finals in Turin will determine the final ranking of 2025. To secure the year-end number one, he must win the tournament undefeated, just as he did last year. And even then, Carlos Alcaraz can still catch him with the right combination of wins. But for now, Sinner refuses to calculate. He's choosing peace over pressure. "Before every match, I just try to give my best," he said. "If I can win, I win. If not, I learn. That's all." The goal this week was to go day by day, maximize my potential, and I think I did that. It's the voice of maturity, of a player who has learned to manage success as carefully as defeat. When he says he'll focus only on his side of the court, it's not a cliché, it's a philosophy. For Sinner, emotional balance is part of his game plan. Behind the scenes, his team confirms that the last few months have been exhausting. The withdrawal in Shanghai was not only physical, it was mental burnout. Endless travel, media attention, and the ongoing rivalry with Alcaraz had taken a toll. The Vienna and Paris titles were as much about endurance as about tennis. And yet, even while tired, Sinner's discipline never wavered. Every morning in Paris began the same way: a light warm-up, a calm conversation with Darren Cahill, and an hour of silent focus before the match. That ritual of control has become his weapon. Cahill, who has guided legends like Agassi and Halep, once said that the hardest part of coaching Sinner is keeping him patient. "He's so driven," Cahill explained. "Sometimes you have to remind him that perfection doesn't exist, consistency does." That message has clearly landed. Because now, even as world number one, Sinner speaks like a man who knows his position is temporary. Borrowed, not owned. When asked about Alcaraz and the possibility of losing the ranking again in Turin, Sinner simply smiled. "If he plays better, he deserves it. That's how sport works. I just hope we both play our best. That's what people want to see." That calm humility is part of what makes him so respected in the locker room. Opponents describe him as a machine, not for his power, but for his composure. He doesn't shout, he doesn't show off, he doesn't panic. Even in moments of frustration, like his brief argument with his team during the quarterfinal against Shelton, he regains control within minutes. Still, Sinner knows that this calm will soon be tested. Turin is coming. His home country, his people, his expectations. The weight will be immense. "It's a privilege, not a burden," he said. "Playing at home means I get energy from the crowd. I want to give them something to remember." If Paris was about redemption, Turin will be about confirmation. He's already proved he can win under pressure. Now he must prove he can stay at the top under the heaviest spotlight of all. As he left the Paris press room, carrying the massive silver trophy under one arm, a journalist asked whether he felt like the best player in the world. Sinner paused for a moment, smiled politely, and said, "Maybe for today. Tomorrow we start again." Those 6 words, "tomorrow we start again," summarize the essence of the new Jannik Sinner: humble in victory, hungry in silence, and perfectly aware that greatness isn't a destination. It's a routine. Paris crowned Jannik Sinner as the new world number one. But the story doesn't end there, it only intensifies. The season's final chapter now moves to Turin, where Sinner and Alcaraz will fight not just for points, but for supremacy. The stage is set for one of the most anticipated ATP Finals in recent memory. Carlos Alcaraz, dethroned yet again, finds himself in an unusual position, chasing instead of being chased. His early exit in Paris against Cameron Norrie left both fans and analysts questioning his form. After the match, he admitted, "I didn't feel the ball. I froze. It happens." For a player defined by confidence and aggression, those words sounded almost foreign. Alcaraz is human after all, and the strain of an endless season has begun to show. Meanwhile, Sinner's focus remains unshaken. Paris was redemption for the body. Turin will be the test of the soul. To secure the year-end #1 for the second straight season, he must win the ATP Finals undefeated, a nearly impossible feat that only the greatest have achieved. The mathematics are ruthless. If Sinner lifts the trophy in Turin, he reaches an untouchable total of points. But if he falters, even slightly, Alcaraz can reclaim the throne by winning 3 matches, either sweeping the group stage or combining group and elimination victories. The rivalry has become a chess match, every point a calculation. Yet numbers tell only half the story. What's truly fascinating is how different these two men are, and how their contrasts fuel the sport's next golden era. Sinner is discipline incarnate. His approach is mathematical. No wasted motion, no emotional overflow, no shortcuts. He trains like a craftsman, trusting repetition and logic. His team calls him the architect. Every rally, every shot, every choice is built like a structure, stable, methodical, precise. Alcaraz, in contrast, is chaos made beautiful. He plays with fire, spontaneity, and fearless imagination. His tennis is emotion first, calculation second. When he wins, it feels like art. When he loses, it feels like heartbreak. And that's why the world can't stop watching. Because every time they meet, on clay, grass, or hard court, it's not just a match. It's a duel of philosophies, structure versus instinct, silence versus fire. The 2025 season has defined them as the sport's twin poles. Sinner, the quiet warrior who turned obstacles into momentum. Alcaraz, the prodigy whose brilliance sometimes burns too brightly. Each forces the other to evolve. In Paris, Sinner's control was total. He didn't drop a set all week, something unseen in a Masters 1000 since Alcaraz's perfect run in Indian Wells 2 years earlier. When he lifted the trophy, the symbolism was clear. The student has caught the master. But in tennis, nothing is permanent. Turin awaits, and Alcaraz thrives on revenge. Behind the scenes, both teams are preparing with military precision. In Sinner's camp, the priority is recovery. His trainer, Umberto Ferrara, confirmed that the focus now is energy preservation. The Italian's game depends on timing and clean hitting, both fragile when fatigue sets in. For Alcaraz, meanwhile, the emphasis is confidence. His coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, has told Spanish media that Paris is forgotten, we move forward. The draw for the ATP Finals will determine everything. If both men win their groups, a direct semi-final or final between them could decide who finishes the year on top of the world. A single match, one evening in Turin, could rewrite history. Off-court, Sinner remains unshaken by the growing media storm. His relationship with Danish model Lea Hasanovic continues to make headlines in Italy, but he refuses to be drawn into distractions. "I know who I am," he said after Paris. "I know what matters." That quiet clarity contrasts sharply with Alcaraz's visible frustration in interviews, a reminder that even small emotional differences can shape big outcomes. The 2025 season will be remembered not for dominance, but for duality. Two young champions pushing each other beyond their limits, one with ice, the other with fire. The new age of men's tennis isn't coming. It's already here. As the ATP Finals approach, one truth stands above all. The crown can only belong to one. Paris gave Sinner the throne. Turin will decide if he can keep it. Subscribe now to World News Tennis for in-depth coverage of the ATP Finals, daily analysis, and the real story behind the Sinner-Alcaraz rivalry shaping the future of tennis.